Everybody wants to buy a business with no money down. None of your capital at risk, with the seller just handing you the keys to their company. It is the most seductive idea of the whole business acquisition game. That's exactly how people end up owning the worst businesses in the market. In the next few minutes, I'm going to be showing you exactly why chasing no money down deals actually points you towards the worst businesses that you could possibly buy. I'm also going to show you the right way that you should be using seller finance to improve your deal making abilities. So using the right way, seller financing or vendor financing is one of the best tools that you could possibly use. But if you're using it as a shortcut, then it's bait. So let's be honest with why vendor finance is so appealing. You are using none of your own money to buy a business. So you're not putting in any of your own capital. You're not chasing investor capital. You're not trying to figure out how to get a bank loan. You are in the deal and the seller is giving you the loan to buy the business. Now, I'm not going to pretend that that isn't something that can be a real advantage, but that advantage is something that risks blinding you. So here's the question that no one really asks. Why would someone hand you their business for nothing? Despite what gurus tell you, good businesses do sell. Right now, they are in more demand than ever. We have a business supply shortage. When a good business hits the market, seasoned buyers make a move. These buyers have money, bank relationships, investor capital, and they're ready to push play. So the business sells. And what's left? Businesses that couldn't sell, which are businesses that other people didn't want. So if the owner can't sell, but they still want out, then the next best thing that they can offer is vendor finance. So sit with that because it changes the whole dynamic of vendor finance. Yes, it's a way for you to get into a business easier, but the business that you're getting into isn't as great as other options. One part that people overlook is that seller financing doesn't make a bad business good. A business has to be good on its own economics. If it can't pay its own way, or if it doesn't have any redeeming qualities, then no money down deals just aren't going to make the business work. You end up with a lot of debt that you owe to the seller and a business that actually owns you. Now, this doesn't mean that you should avoid vendor finance. You actually want part of the deal to have some component of vendor finance. The reason for that is if you hand over all of the money to the seller on day one, they have absolutely no aligned interest with you on making the transition of the business go smoothly. If you hand a seller a whole lot of money so that they can leave the business, you're effectively giving the star employee a duffel bag full of cash that they can just roll off into the sunset with, and they don't actually care what happens to you or the business once they're gone. Business transitions aren't actually always straightforward, and you're going to need some support from the exiting seller in the future. There are going to be things that they've missed in handing over the business to you. They haven't gone through the process of selling this business more than once. Another important component of vendor finance is the seller's believability in the asset to actually go through this transition and you to become the new owner. If the seller isn't willing to defer some of the payments for the sale, it can be a sign that they're not that confident in the business running without them. So great deal makers use seller financing as part of their offer stack. They'll bring their own capital, investment capital, bank debt, and then some seller financing. So if you want the full toolkit on how to structure a deal with vendor finance, bank debt, investor capital without giving everything away, then in the link below, you're going to find a 21-day email course that I've put together to teach you exactly how to do this. So to wrap this up, remember that really good businesses do sell. Anything that's left over or anyone who's willing to offer full vendor finance has probably already tried to go through the sales process. That means that it's a business that maybe no one wanted. That's not the kind of business that you want to use full leverage to buy. And also, seller financing actually doesn't fix bad business economics. If the best thing about a deal is that you're paying nothing for it, then it's probably a sign that this is going to be a bad deal. So let me know in the comments if you have ever come across a business transaction or a deal that just seemed way too good to be true. If you want more frameworks and lessons from real deals that I've done and what I've learned in my acquisition journey, then I want you to subscribe and keep an eye out because every week I release more content exactly like this. If you want the next video, it's right here.